Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I've owned Innovate Solutions for over a decade, building custom software platforms for various businesses. It's a tough industry, but I pride myself on fair contracts and delivering quality. Most clients are great, but then there was Karly Vance. Karly ran a new online fashion startup called Trendbloom. We spent months developing a bespoke e-commerce platform for her, a substantial project, costing her around $50,000 for 3 months of intensive work. The contract was comprehensive, covering everything from development milestones to payment schedules, intellectual property, and dispute resolution. She signed it without a hitch. Things went smoothly for the first month after launch, then she started making excuses. Her startup was struggling, her investors were delayed. Then the payment stopped. 2 months went by, then 3. I reached out multiple times, offering payment plans, even a temporary hold on some services to ease her burden. She just kept promising, then initiating chargebacks on the few checks she did send, totaling over $50,000 in lost revenue for my company. I finally had enough and sent a formal contract termination notice, revoking her license to use the platform until payment was made in full. That's when the real maliciousness started. Karly, panicking, called my office. I was firm, reiterating that the contract was terminated due to non-payment and that I couldn't grant her any more extensions. A few days later, her lawyer, Brenda Sterling, sent me a cease and desist letter, claiming my termination was invalid. Apparently, Karly had twisted my firm refusal for an extension into a verbal agreement that, according to her, superseded the written termination and kept our original contract valid and active. Brenda's letter threatened to sue my company for breach of contract, claiming I was unjustly withholding Karly's access to the platform, thereby crippling her business. She wanted full access restored and compensation for damages. I was floored. This woman not only stole from me, but was now trying to sue me for doing my job. My own legal counsel warned me that while her claim was flimsy, it could drag us through expensive litigation, tying up resources and potentially harming my company's reputation. The stakes were incredibly high. Innovate Solutions was not a megacorporation, and a frivolous lawsuit could genuinely hurt us. That night, simmering with a mix of fury and fear, I had an epiphany. If Karly and Brenda insisted the original contract was still valid, I would agree. But I would use every single word of that valid contract against her. I locked myself in my office, pulled out Karly's signed service agreement, and went through it line by line, page by page. I wasn't just looking for payment terms anymore. I was hunting for every single clause she had violated, every penalty, every fee, every potential legal recourse available to me under the very contract she insisted was still in effect. I found gold. Clauses for escalating late fees, chargeback penalties, fees for unauthorized continued use of the platform after a notice of non-payment, and even a significant penalty for any attempt to extract, reverse engineer, or independently operate components of the proprietary platform without full payment and a perpetual license agreement, which I had evidence she had tried to do with a third-party consultant. Crucially, the contract also stipulated that the client was responsible for all legal fees and collection costs resulting from their breach. Weeks later, we found ourselves in a pre-trial mediation, facing Karly and Brenda. Karly was practically radiating smug confidence, and Brenda, looking prim and professional, confidently presented their case. She argued that my verbal agreement with Karly had invalidated my termination, thus keeping the initial contract active. She demanded full restoration of service, damages, and threatened a full lawsuit if I didn't comply. When it was my turn, I leaned forward. Your Honor, I must agree with Ms. Sterling. It appears Karly and I did have an understanding after my termination notice. And yes, her original service agreement, as she insists, is indeed valid. Karly's smile widened. Brenda exchanged a triumphant glance with her. They thought they had won. I then continued. However, Your Honor, since the contract is valid, Karly is in breach of several of its terms, and I would like to detail the full extent of her outstanding obligations under said valid agreement. May I present my findings? The mediator, initially surprised, nodded. I pulled out my meticulously prepared spreadsheet and began. According to Section 4, B, a late fee of $250 plus 1.5% of the outstanding balance is applied weekly after 10 days of non-payment. This has accrued for 12 weeks across multiple invoices. Additionally, per Section 4, C, each payment reversal incurs a $150 chargeback fee. Karly initiated 5. Under Section 6. E, any unauthorized access or use of the platform after notice of non-payment incurs a daily penalty of $500. Karly continued to hold active user accounts for over 30 days after termination. Brenda's face was slowly draining of color. Karly, who had been grinning, now looked like a deer in headlights. I pressed on. Furthermore, Section 8 D states that any attempt to extract proprietary code or independently operate components of the platform without a full license agreement incurs a penalty of $50,000 per instance. We have forensic evidence Karly attempted to download and transfer core platform components to an external consultant server. Finally, Your Honor, per Section 12. G, the client is responsible for all legal fees, administrative costs, and collection expenses incurred by Innovate Solutions due to their breach. I slid the spreadsheet across the table to the mediator. Her eyes widened, and she gasped softly as she took in the highlighted grand total. As you can see, Your Honor, I concluded, the total amount Karly Vance now owes Innovate Solutions, under the terms of the contract she insists is valid, is precisely $185,750. Brenda looked like she was about to faint. Karly was utterly speechless, her jaw slack. The mediator looked from the spreadsheet to the two of them, then back to me. So, Mr. Johnson, what is your proposal? She asked. If Karly insists the contract is valid and wishes to continue with our services, she must settle this total debt of $185,750 today. Otherwise, I will proceed to court to pursue the full amount, and her company will lose all access and rights to our platform, effective immediately. The mediator didn't hesitate. She ruled for Karly to either produce payment or face immediate legal action for the full, staggering amount. Karly, of course, couldn't pay. Karly Vance's startup, Trendbloom, imploded within weeks. Without access to the platform and facing insurmountable debt, her investors pulled out, and she declared personal bankruptcy. Brenda Sterling probably dropped her as a client faster than you can say liability. My company not only recovered the initial $50,000, but a significant portion of the penalties and legal fees, effectively stabilizing us after her malicious actions. It was sweet, hard-earned justice, watching her entire fraudulent scheme collapse under the weight of her own words. She wanted her contract to be valid. I made sure it was, and it was the most expensive, valid contract she ever had. Some lessons are learned the hard way.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.